Jeremiyah Love, running back from Notre Dame.
This was a Heisman finalist, a guy with 2 straight seasons over 1,000 rushing yards, and one of the most electric guys in the entire 2026 rookie class.
Jeremiyah Love is clearly going to be the top running back drafted in this year's NFL draft class for good reason. You watch his game versus USC, explosive, cutting the defense up. There is literally nothing they can do in that game. Now, I do think he had about 150 yards before contact. That does speak a little bit to that Notre Dame offensive line, but it also speaks to Jeremiyah Love's speed and vision, getting to the open field and running away from defenders, which is a huge asset that most NFL teams are looking for, especially coming from a Jahmyr Gibbs. They all want that home run ability where you can give a guy the ball anywhere on the field, and there is a chance he scores you a touchdown. You also see Jeremiyah Love highlight on this play, 50-yard touchdown run against Purdue. You see the one-cut ability, but my favorite part about this play is how he finishes the play, 2 hands on the football, ball security. When you got a player that's this star level, sometimes you get a little bit of that showmanship, that showboat, that finish the play in style. Jeremiyah Love does it in what I consider style, covering up the ball with 2 hands, making sure he's taking care of the football and scoring that touchdown. This is an electric player. And the best part, I say the best part, the best strength for last is this spin move. Defenders have nightmares about it. You know, every single week, NFL defenders are thankful that he's been in college, and now they're going to be watching that tape, trying to prepare for that spin move. Maybe it's a little bit more difficult to execute against NFL talent, but this is still going to be a highlight you see week after week after week, the Jeremiyah Love spin move, as long as he can get that opportunity to get to the open field and use it to his advantage.
And I will harp on this big strength for Jeremiyah Love. It's his explosiveness and the speed just generally from an NFL caliber guy. He's already there. He was a state champion sprinter. That's all you really need to know about how fast he really is. He had multiple 90-yard runs in college. He has that potential to take any touch all the way to the house. You love that in fantasy. You love that in the NFL. He's also a 3-down running back. He has that ability to do that. He can catch the ball. He did that in college. Not the most extensive history of pass catching, but definitely something that he can do and a strength that I see in the NFL that can translate. Also, his vision and patience is really good. The first thing you come up with is Le'Veon Bell with the patience in the backfield. Maybe it's not at that level, but he can definitely pick his spots, take the right gaps, and go with it. There are a couple weaknesses, though. His contact absorption and power in that aspect isn't the strongest. Like at an Ashton Genty level from last year, his whole thing is contact balance. He does not get tackled very easily. Jeremiyah Love is a little bit below that. Again, it's not something that's a crazy issue, but we know NFL defenses are really built to take away the outside, and that's something that Jeremiyah Love is really good at doing. He does it a ton in college. He bounces a lot of things out to the outside, which I will get into for who my NFL player comp for him is later. But if he has a little bit of trouble winning on that outside, and it's something that he keeps wanting to go back to, we know NFL offenses and just coaching staffs don't love it when you run outside. I think he can do it. He's fast enough. He's quick enough. He's explosive enough to have it. But we could see a little bit of a worry if he tries to bounce it out every single time. That doesn't end up happening and working the way they want early in the season. And then he has to come straight down the middle of all the gaps. And then maybe he gets stuck there. But again, very minimal issue here. And his pass protection, something that I'm going to put as maybe not a weakness, but a ticking point for almost every running back is when you get to the NFL, you want to have good pass protection. We see all the time that running backs that don't even really get the ball that much get pass catching opportunities because of those chip blocks, because of the opportunities they get and the amount of snaps they get just from helping the quarterback and the offensive line block a little bit up front. And we know with this offensive line, for whatever team that he goes to, it's going to be important for that to happen. I don't think it's a necessarily huge weakness, but it is something to keep in mind on his profile.
Yeah, and I've got two main weaknesses. One of them you mentioned, Avery, but I'll start with the unique one, is that his pass catching ability, it's okay. He's not a natural pass catcher. He does let the ball into his body a little bit. And a lot of the highlights you get from college, he's wide open. I highly doubt these NFL teams, especially when he's being drafted. I mean, he's projected top 10 pick to someone like the Titans, someone like the Giants. They may not have the other resources for the defense to focus on. That means they're not going to let Jeremiyah Love be wide open like he was in college. The second weakness is one you mentioned, Avery, his lack of tackle breaking ability, which maybe not a huge deal, but I will bring up the case of Jahmyr Gibbs, who I think is a slightly better back, especially in the pass catching and in the twitchiness and explosiveness, because Jahmyr Gibbs had 4 games under 4 yards per carry in 2024. That's when the Detroit Lions offensive line was elite. They lost their center to retirement, Frank Ragnow. They lost some of their other offensive line pieces to injury. And you look at Jahmyr Gibbs in 2025, he had 10 games out of 17 total games for the season. He was under 4 yards per carry, and he had multiple games under 3 yards a carry. That just shows that even an amazing back like Jahmyr Gibbs, bona fide, certified, top tier running back, especially in the elusiveness and the creativeness, still may not be able to make it happen if the O-line is not good enough.
And encompassing all of that together, it is only right to give him a few player comps from NFL guys. The first one that comes to my mind, and one you probably won't see everywhere, is the Super Bowl version of what we saw Kenneth Walker do. I mean, Super Bowl MVP, he bounces a bunch of runs to the outside. He can take any touch to the house and was really saving this offense in a way. I definitely think that's a really close NFL comp to who he can be every game. I think a lower level, Bijan Robinson is something else you can expect just from his fast twitch ability and his quickness. I think these two players are really close in their agility profiles and the potential to be a third down back as well.
And I would relate him to Jamal Charles. Man, what a fun running back to watch growing up. Jamal Charles, they're similar height, similar speed, similar weight. So I love that comparison there. They both have devastating moves. Jamal Charles, his is a little simpler, which I prefer, honestly, just like a one cut. Defenders just don't know which way he's going to go. Jeremiyah Love has the spin move, takes a little bit longer to execute, but has been extremely effective so far in his career. The one thing I think Jamal Charles excels in a little bit better, and obviously he was a pro at this time, multiple years in the NFL, but he has that pro level vision. You can see Jamal Charles setting up defenders, showing patience even in the open field to let blocks develop or let defenders run by him as he cuts the other way. Jeremiyah Love does tend to rely on his speed a little bit too much, misses some of those cutback angles. Those are things that can develop, but the potential that Jamal Charles brings, that game-breaking ability, defenses giving them nightmares, have to focus on him, making the rest of his team better. That's what Jeremiyah Love is going to bring to his NFL team.
I'm going to spice things up a little bit. I don't love comparing players who are going to the NFL to players who are excellent in college who weren't great in the NFL, but like I see a lot of collegiate CJ Spiller in Jeremiyah Love. Truly game-breaking speed, game-breaking agility, and just an awesome player. He had a 10.5% collegiate target share, which does mean he's going to have real receiving potential. And if you're in PPR leagues, it's locked in. It's money. You're going to be dominant if you take him in the first 4 or 5 rounds of your redraft league. In dynasty drafts, Jeremiyah Love's the #1 overall pick, unless you are desperate for a wide receiver. But I believe that the NFL principle of drafting, you never want to draft for need, does translate to dynasty fantasy football too. I would take Jeremiyah Love with the first overall dynasty pick. And if you want to see our full dynasty rankings, you have to check out the WalterPicks rookie guide. We have spent hours and hours and hours working on it. It's going to get you right. You're going to know exactly what you need to do in your drafts, and you're going to feel so informed about this class. It's going to be unbelievable. Check it out right now.